Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop. Well, it's not the workshop, it's the man cave. But I was in the workshop today. I'm always in the workshop. It seems like for a few minutes at least. Um, anyway, this morning I ran out and did a little bit of metal detecting with that new metal detector just to kind of give it a good trial run and see what I thought of it. And we'll show you a video clip of that here in a little bit. We had our lesson last night, our mandolin lesson. I was reading there that Dottie missed the lesson last night. She said she watched it today. Well, thank you, Dottie, for the donation. I appreciate it very much. I hope you're getting something out of it. And those of you who want to make comments about the next lesson, which will be next week, Thursday, feel free to make comments in here today, and I'll kind of keep them in mind and see where we need to go. My plan is to step it up yet another notch and get into some minor chords and things like that on next week's practice songs. And, we'll try to keep them as simple as we can, but you just kind of keep stepping it up, So keep practicing, keep trying, and we'll get you playing a mandolin before very long. Trinian and Layton are coming next week. That's my grandsons that live in Ohio. We got some disturbing news on Trinian this morning. He's been complaining about foot problems for quite a while, actually. Even back when we did our turkey bowl, if you remember, last Thanksgiving, he was talking about he didn't know if he could run. His feet hurt, and we're thinking, boy, a young guy like that shouldn't be having problems with his feet. Well, they got x-rays yesterday, and the doctors said they've really never seen anything quite like it. He's got extra bones in one heel that shouldn't be there. No, they're not like bone spurs. They're extra bones. And then on the other heel, he's got the bone is elongated. So it's kind of weird that, in fact, the doctor said they've never seen anything quite like it. So the doctors are now working with the children's hospitals in the local Dayton area there, I guess, and trying to determine if this is something that they've seen before or not. So we don't know what's going to happen. But right now, Trinian's kind of out of the sports scene, which is sad because he likes sports so much, but they've kind of pulled him out of that for a while, and that's kind of sad. But he will be here next week, and hopefully he's doing okay. I've never heard of anything quite like that, so it's pretty bizarre. Let's see. Today I'm expecting the new carburetor and that new sensor to come in for the lawn tractor, so hopefully I'll get that on there, and hopefully it'll just fix the problem. My luck, that ain't gonna happen. But it would be so cool if it did. I'd just be so tickled. You wouldn't even know how many backflips I'd do if I was 20 years younger. Yeah. I just hope it fixes it. I'm so sick and tired of dealing with that mess. And again, people say, just get a new one. Well, yeah, $20,000, get a new one, or fix it for $50. I just soon fix it for $50 because there's really nothing else wrong with that machine. You got to understand, I've kept that machine up. It's got new spindles, it's got new wheels, it's in perfect shape. It's just like if you bought it at a store, other than the fact that the paint's beat off of it, everything is fine, So it's just this running problem right now. And apparently there's a lot of problems with Kawasaki motors running. I'm seeing quite a bit of it, and several of you have sent me videos and things about the problems. But so far, none of them really match what I'm running into. So, I don't know. Again, I know it's a simple problem. Just got to find it. And we'll be working on that this weekend. You can bet on that for sure. If the carburetor doesn't fix it with the new sensor, then I'm going to switch the relays around and try that. That was a good idea. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to pull the flywheel off and look for some bad condenser or a CDI unit that Eddie was talking about. But I'll get to the bottom of it one way or the other. Lots of people are suspecting that it's fuel related, like the kind of fuel. I don't think that's got anything to do with it. I really, truly don't. I think it's got something to do with some minor little glitch. It's it's an electrical problem or a fuel problem, but I mean fuel related in terms of the mechanics of the machine, not the kind of fuel. I just don't think that's got anything to do with it at all. But we'll see. We'll just see. I don't know. I just wish it would be over with. This metal detecting video that I'm going to show you here is only a few minutes long, but I thought you might find it interesting. So here it is.
Well, my friends, I didn't get very far. I have found something here that I haven't noticed before, and I've been all over this area, trust me. So let me show you here. I've taken the headphones off so you can hear the beep. There's something long in the ground here, I believe. Now, how I missed this before, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It says it's iron based on the indicator here. So I don't think it's going to be anything spectacular, but you never know. So we're going to dig it. I don't have a way to hold the camera while I'm digging, so I'm just going to dig it and I'll show you what it is. Well, my first observation is this ground right here in this line is harder than anything I've dug on this whole farm. It's so hard to dig. This is the only thing I found so far. But with the pinpointer, I do see more stuff in this ground, and it's like a long line. I don't get it. Like, see, you can see. So I don't know. There's another one. Looky there. So it is a bunch of staples. It looks like there's been a bunch of staples poured out here in a row, which is really weird. They probably showed up as a strong iron on my detectors, why I didn't dig them. But I was just curious. So I'm going to go ahead and dig some more here. If I find anything other than that, I'll let you see it. Well, I have found several staples in the ground here, and I found one long nail, which seemed to be a kind of a modern nail, but it looked really old in terms of age. It was a round nail, but I bet it was 100 years old. So I'm going to keep digging here a little bit more just to see if I uncover anything else, but right now it's all staples and nails. At that first spot, I found a whole bunch more staples. I probably found 8 or 9 and one nail. So I moved on from there, and I've hit a spot here that at least it's a little interesting. You can see that it's an iron signal mostly, but occasionally I get a zinc or a money signal like right here. Now, wouldn't that be something if I'd find a little coin or something that I haven't found with the other detectors? So let's see what this is. Oh, looky here. There you go. That's probably what it is. A flat piece of metal like that will often give off a false signal. I'm surprised I didn't run into that with my metal detector, or it might have identified it as iron and I just let it go. I think that's it, though. I don't hear anything else here. Of course, I'll check around. Like I hear a signal right here. We did find it with the detector also, but I'm pretty sure it said it was iron, so I don't see much point in digging this one. But since we're here, got the camera on, and I did find it with the metal detector. First, I'll just go ahead and dig it and see what it is. It's probably a nail or a thin staple or something. It almost always is when it's iron around here on a farm, you know. Must be down in there pretty deep. See if we can get her out of there. That looks like that might be it right there. That looks like an old valve stem. I think that's what it is, an old valve stem. Yep, I'm pretty sure that's an old valve stem. I just thought I'd show you that it's easy to control your sensitivity on this too. So if you wanted to make it more sensitive to go deeper, you press this sensitivity button and then you can go down. That's less sensitive, or up is more sensitive. Sometimes when you get them too sensitive, it's a little tricky. So you got to find the happy medium for the ground you're hunting in. So I'm going to go about there, and we'll try that for a while.
Well, I clicked on it. It just didn't switch. Anyway, yeah, that metal detector, it's $149.95, I think, $150. Um, it's a darn good metal detector for that kind of money. I mean, it doesn't compare with my $1,000 metal detectors, but it shouldn't, for $150. It's a good one though. I mean, I really do like it. It's easy to use. I like that part about it. It's just easy to use. You don't have to go do, jump through hoops and push 19 buttons and, all the crud that some of the cheap ones do. Some of the cheap ones just are crazy. Like the one I got from Harbor Freight. That thing was just junk. I bought it for Isaac for his birthday just as a present a couple years ago, and I don't think he ever did use it, but it was awkward to use to begin with. And I had another cheap one when I was a kid, and it was okay, but it was really cheap. Of course, that was old technology. But anyway, this one, in terms of price, it'd be real hard to beat, I think. I don't think you're going to find one a whole lot better than this one for this kind of money. It doesn't seem to go real deep, maybe 4 inches, 5 inches. Now, it says it can go 10 inches deep on a quarter. Maybe it can. I'm going to do some testing on that before I actually create the video, and I'll show you how deep it'll pick up a quarter, because I'll just wave it in the air there, and we'll just measure that. But overall, I like it a lot. So if you're looking for, to get into metal detecting and you're looking for an inexpensive detector, I'm pretty sure I recommend this one. I don't see a problem. And I was concerned that maybe the batteries would wear out really fast, because it takes 2 9-volt batteries. Well, that can get expensive. But so far, it hasn't moved off of the full mark. And I've used it for now about a total of probably 45 minutes, something like that. That's not a long time, don't get me wrong. But in 45 minutes, if it was a battery eater, you'd probably already see the battery move down a notch, and it hasn't moved off a full. So, it seems like it's going to be okay. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out because I do know people are interested in that and looking for a decent detector. And I will be putting a link out on that as soon as I get the video out. I'll have that on the Products I Use page. Again, I'm going to start putting a few products on the Products I Use page that I don't necessarily use. What it will mean instead is that it's a product that I would endorse in terms of it's a product that's worth the money, that it costs. Whether I'm using it or not is a different story, but if it was the only product I had, I would certainly use it. As an example, and if this is just maybe sounds stupid, I don't know, but like say there was 4 or 5 guys going out metal detecting, and they had 4 or 5 detectors, and they said, well, you get to use this one. I would not have a problem with using that one all day long. Even though, I obviously prefer my really high-end metal detector, but I wouldn't have a problem using that one all day because it's nice. It works pretty good. So there you go. That's what I mean by it. It's just that it's not a bad deal at all, and it's worth the money. So anyway, you'll see some of those products showing up on the Products I Use page, like the McPow welder. I probably won't be using that, but it's every bit worth its money. It's worth it. So it'll probably show up on the Products I Use page from that regard. And again, if it was the only one I had, I'd certainly be using it. So let's see. Going to the top of the list here today, David Tharp looks like he's up there. Joe Nigan. And then David's got a question mark, says, hey, Jerry, is it true that a drum was invented when the guy making a banjo was too lazy to put a neck on it? Wouldn't surprise me. Couldn't make a tambourine out of it. Let's see. Jeff says he forgot to grab a guitar and watch the mandolin lesson last night. Yeah, well, you should have done that. I think it was a pretty good lesson. The few comments I got seemed like it was good, so I hope everybody liked it. Dottie says, I missed it last night. I watched it today, so thank you, Dottie. I hope it's working for you. Just hang in there, go through it a few times, and it'll come to you. David Tharp, after we went live, says, 2 birds were sitting on the wire. One bird grunted, chirp. The other bird said, great. Now that stupid song is going to be stuck in my head all day. I can't remember. There was a song just very recently that did that to me. I can't remember. I actually thought about mentioning it to you the day it happened. I forgot which one it was now. It's not stuck in there anymore. But it stayed with me all day long. It was driving me crazy. Wavy Gravy. Why was Noah such a lousy fisherman? He only had 2 worms. Let's see. Bill wrote, excuse me. Jerry, I'd like to apologize for yesterday. My phone is nuts. That's okay. I don't remember anything. So, past 30 seconds ago, I don't remember what it was anyway. And the older I get, maybe that's 20 seconds. James Copy played at an open mic last night, and it went well. I was asked to sing Celtic tunes. Cool. And Bill Mumble says, 5 minutes late, young Jerry. Okay. Was that you that was 5 minutes late or me? I think I was on time, so I guess it was you. David Tharp, I believe that silly putty proves that a serious putty must exist, and I'm pretty sure the serious putty is called C4. Yeah, you can't get much more serious than C4 when you're talking about putty, that's for sure. Wavy Gravy, a human skeleton walks into a bar. He turns to the bartender and says, I'll have a beer and a mop. Yep. Garland Edmondson, how are you getting the lawn mowed without the zero turn? Well, we have other options. They're not great, but we do have a finish mower on the back of the big John Deere tractor, and she's been cutting with that. And I mean, it's not the best alternative because it's harder to get into places and things, and it's not going to be even as fast, literally, because even though it cuts probably a wider swath than the zero turn's like 3 times faster and turns easy. So, it's faster to cut the grass with the zero turn. Let's see. Gary Hayden. Jerry, did you ever build a mandolin other than the F5 style, and did you ever put binding in the sound holes of any of your mandolins? Nope. Nope and nope. I never did build a different one, and no, I never did put the binding inside the sound holes. Well, except on a round sound hole mandolin where I've repaired them, I've put that in, but I've never built one and put binding inside the sound hole. I've just only done it on repairs. Dottie Hildebrand, in my defense, I missed the lesson. I have been sleeping because I'm still with the shingles. Yeah, Dottie, I feel for you. Doggone, I hope that goes away soon. I'm praying for you. I just know that that's got to be a mess. I'm so thankful I don't have that or never have had that. And yeah, I probably should go get the shots. I don't know, though. I'm the kind of guy that almost believe, and it's probably stupid to believe this, but I'm pretty sure the way my system is, if I went and got the shots, I'd get the shingles from the shots. I know people say, nah, it's not possible. That won't happen. Well, for the average person, I'd agree with that. But my system is messed up. I mean, it's messed up. Not messed up such a bad way. It's just different. It's completely different. Everything about me is weird. It's just weird. I'm a genetic defect from where they come from. And that's the truth. Let's see. Ronald Todd, Jerry, what's going on with the water wheel? Zero is going on with the water wheel right now. I'm still just trying to get caught up on stuff that, I put a lot of stuff off because I was working on the water wheel full time. So now I'm putting the water wheel off and trying to get caught up on stuff like these product videos for one thing. And this morning I finally got through all my email and got it completely caught up. And guess what? I bet you I turned down every bit of 20 different product offers. I turned down at least 20. I told 3 or 4, yeah, go ahead and send it and I'll do a video on it if I get it. So I don't know if I'll get those or not, but we'll see. Yeah, it's unbelievable how many product offers come in. There's a bunch of them on water filters lately, like these kind that sit on your counter, and like have the reverse osmosis and all that kind of stuff. And they're expensive. They're like $400, and I tell them no. Now, I probably should accept it because we could use it on our well water here, but our well water is pretty good, so I don't know. I just told them no. Mostly because it just doesn't seem to fit my video style. I like to work, and if the videos have something to do with working, I'm all over it. If the products, have something to do with working, I'm all over it. C. Wilscheck says, I bought a metal detector for my dad to just play around with. Well, a year later, I borrowed it to see if the roofer did a good job picking up after himself. Found 314 nails. Wow. Yeah, that's, just think about that. 314 nails. You got to put on half a roof with 314 nails. That's nuts. Well, that was probably from the tear off. When they tore the roof off, they probably threw a lot of nails down on the ground, or they slid off the roof down on the ground. That's what I mean. So, yeah, the tear off is where you get all those nails on the ground. Hugh O'Connor, what does the carburetor sensor connect to? It may be a PCB where one of the components has failed. Well, quite honestly, I haven't tracked the far end of that wire down. Again, it goes through stuff and you can't see the end of it, and so I don't know where it goes for sure. It's possible. It's very possible that something is failing there. I know whenever you turn the key on, like if you have your hand on that sensor, you can feel it click. So I know it's working when you turn it on. I don't know. When you feel it click, that's when it's backing the plunger away from the hole. In other words, when the plunger's in, it shuts the hole off. When you turn it on, it pulls the plunger back and it holds it back. So I'm assuming that sometime during the drive, it's letting that plunger drop forward, and that's what's killing it. You got a good point there about tracking that down. I do need to track that down. So that'll be, I'll put that on my list of things to test and check too, is to see where that goes. Because it may go to one of those relays, actually, is what I'm thinking it probably goes to, but I don't know that for sure either. It's hard to tell. It's just like any modern thing. Everything's jammed together. Have you ever tried to work on a Bobcat? Everything's jammed together. You can't stick a screwdriver into the open spaces. There's no open spaces. Everything's just crammed, and that's kind of the way this lawn tractor is. Even though it's not quite that bad, but everything's hidden and under something and through something, and you just can't tell where it goes. But I will get to that level if this thing doesn't fix it that we're going to put on today. Or maybe this evening or tomorrow, because our mail doesn't even come till sometimes till 8 o'clock at night, so it may not be here till late. Hugh O'Connor, what does I'm sorry, I read that one. David Tharp, when you're sitting down in public and a stranger comes and sits next to you, just look straight ahead and say, did you bring the money? Yeah. Well, guys, I think that's going to be it. Just be a short one today. And I thank you for being here. If you haven't checked out the mandolin lesson last night and you're interested in playing a mandolin, I think you ought to check it out. We will see you when we see you, probably Monday, and I may get a video out over the weekend too. You just never do know. I did release one last night, which was on the fiddle, so hopefully you saw that too. There was one that just popped up here, Stephen Pitzinger. I don't remember seeing that name before. Glad you're here. Jerry, it goes to something key switch and oil pressure switch. Okay, it probably does. I just haven't bothered trying to trace it down yet. Like I said, it seems like it works. And I did, it does unplug at a certain point, and I did test the length of wire that where it unplugs and made sure that that wire has continuity, and I wiggled the wire all around, and it's got good continuity, and it doesn't seem to break continuity, so I don't think it's a issue with the wire itself, but it disappears from that point on, and I don't know where it goes. So, but I think it's a good idea to track that down, so I probably will do that too if I have to. And like I said, I'll wait and see if I have to. But thanks, guys. I appreciate all the suggestions and ideas. I've tried most of them, trust me. I'm looking for it. We'll figure it out eventually. Nancy says, I watched the fiddle. Excellent. Well, great. Thanks. By the way, on the fiddle, even though that's a product review again, I did show how to set the fiddle up, so there's a lot of detail instruction in there about how to set up the fiddle and what to do and that whole bit. By the way, that company sent me a note, said, we like your video very much. It's very good instructional for young people and stuff, but you didn't use our words, like expert craftsmanship, certain kinds of ebony and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm going like, well, I pretty much covered all that. I just used my words. I didn't use your marketing hype, So I said, sorry if you're disappointed. I don't intend on changing that. I don't know. I'm not into marketing hype. Sorry. Don't send it to. Just don't send me another one. That's all. That's my punishment. Well, anyway, we'll see you when we see you. Thanks.